Hi guys, so welcome back to your reading. So now we're going to go into some more detail about everything to do with what we were already talking about and what your Akashic records want to tell you about the next 18 months to do with this shifts in the nodes. Okay, instantly, boom, the first thing that I was really aware of was this card, Ace of Pentacles, and this card here, Three of Pentacles. For me, this really goes on about what we're saying about, lots of different people coming in and lots of different opportunities. Networking is so important. It's really, really going to give you a new way of looking at something. And so much with this picture, I really see it here. And somebody once said it to me anyway, but your mind is many minds. You are going to be so much more powerful in whatever you are doing and whatever you're trying to achieve over the next 18 months, if you really look at getting many different people's perspectives. Okay, and that doesn't just have to be friends, that could also be people online, it can be books, it can be any kind of resource. That's really, really going to be important. And I do also see that, I know we mentioned as well about this thing about anxiety and overthinking. You know the star card here, looking right at this card here, which can very much be one to do with anxiety. I actually feel that you're really, really going to get a hold on your mental health. Now, I don't just mean, this is, you're not going to have so much anxiety. And I just want to say right now, I am somebody that has anxiety, so I do understand this. But I just feel like on the whole, after the next 18 months, your mind is going to have become some kind of like, I'm getting the words bomb-proof gold dust is what I'm getting. Your just ability and adaptability and flexibility in how you can think and see things and how quickly you can move from one situation or one way of thinking to another is just going to become a really strong, really strong quality within you. And partly this is something to do with, it's so weird and I don't know why this keeps coming up, like we did it here. Can you see this woman here? She's kind of like sleeping on some clouds. Partly this is going to be because I also feel like something is going to change to do with how you sleep. I know this sounds really weird. However, I do also think, like we said before, it's really important that you do look at having a new sleep hygiene. Another thing that my guides are now just saying that I need to mention to you is I also have used earthing sheets. They're so good. They are so good. I can only tell you from my psychic perspective that essentially what they are is basically it's an earthing sheet, which is basically a sheet that you put underneath on on your mattress. Basically, you don't put anything on top of it because you must have your skin contacting that sheet, that earthing sheet. Then you basically collect it into the mains because it's like a little plug. There's not any real electricity running through it, but basically it just earths you and it puts the frequency of earth, something like 7.5 hertz, or I'm not exactly sure what it is, to be honest, the actual number. But basically it helps your body sink in to the frequency of the earth, right? As if you were lying on the earth. It is so good. It is so grounding. I can tell you that my first experience was that... Number one, I woke up at like 12:30 the next day. I never wake up that late, ever. It just like conked me out. I slept so deeply. And then when I did wake up, I had this really weird thing that I've had before with EMF, which is basically I could feel on the crown of my head, like my crown chakra was open and all of this energy was coming out of it. And I could feel like it was all like the incoherent kind of like static frequency within me, some stuff from EMF and stuff like that was coming out of my body, almost like it was discharging out of my body. It was mental. And also actually the first time that I lay down on this sheet, and I still sometimes get it now, sometimes I get like body tingles, like when you do, and it feels so friggin' nice. But all I can say is, I don't know how they'll work for you because we're all different, but my body is super sensitive and they absolutely worked from my perspective. So I think something like that might end up being a really good investment for you, because it really is important for some reason that you really start changing your sleep hygiene. Because some of your guides are also saying this is why some of you do have anxiety, believe it or not, because you're not getting enough sleep and the hormones in your body are therefore not able to balance in the way that they should. And almost like that unbalancedness of your hormones is in some way creating some kind of sort of chemical stress, within your biological system, and that's also creating anxiety. So that just when something then goes off stressful in your reality, let's say something happens at work or whatever, because your body's almost in a slightly stressed state because it's not sleeping properly and the hormone balance isn't quite correct, it's then enough for just any situation in your life that's a bit stressful to tip you into a state of stress and anxiety. So the sleep part is really, really important, and it's also about the quality of sleep. Now, I haven't read this book at all, but my guides are showing me this book. I'll try and find a link for it and I'll put it in the link below. No, I won't. I'll just put a little flash up here of the book. It's the one that basically tells you which animal you are to do with your sleeping pattern and what sleep best works for you. I swear that could be something really useful for you to read. Like I say, I've never read it, but I've heard of it, and my guides are just showing me, like, boom, this is really, really important. Because remember, this is about an investment in you for the next 18 months so you can get the most out of this. And there really are so many friggin' opportunities coming for you guys. I just really feel there's something massive with this one. We've got the Ace of Pentacles, we've got the 5th house, this is great, passion, joy, excitement, creative projects. Then we've got 2nd house, assets, money, stuff like that. The Star, something that you've worked really hard for. Like I say, since 2008 onwards, is really going to start to come to fruition. So you just want to make sure that you're in the best vibrational state so that you can receive that in a way that then can be super productive for you. And I do just feel like that is super, super important. One other thing as well that's really coming in for you guys is you really just want to be mindful, and I know we mentioned it before in the original video, you really, really want to be mindful about being distracted by things or other people. And one of the best ways to make sure that you're not distracted by other people and other things is you need to have really good energetic boundaries. Or if you're not really that into any energy type of things, you just need to have very clear boundaries within yourself about what you do want and what you don't want. And you need to constantly tell yourself this over, like, I don't know, the day or the week or whatever it might be, so that your mind and your reality and your spirit guides are super clear about what you do and do not want, and therefore your guides can help bring these opportunities in for you. Because one other thing that I really do feel as well with the Gemini energy is, Gemini energy to me is friggin' spirit guides. It just totally is. It's that kind of like constant chatty, constant communication, like setting up and like bringing opportunities to you and bringing people that are great for you to network with and creating situations that will help push you forward to your highest potential. You know, it really, really kind of reminds me of that kind of energy. But the thing is, in order for you to be able to receive those things like we talked about before, you need to have a certain things. You know, sleep was one of them, you know, sorting out your meditation, having quiet time by yourself just to integrate. Another one is just making sure that you've got really, really healthy boundaries. This is really, really important. And there's a number of different things that you can do energetically, but obviously salt baths are great for cleansing and clearing out your boundaries and borders. You know, particularly if you're living a stressful job or you feel stressed with anything that's going off. Because obviously I do know that, you know, where obviously there's lots of change going off right now and lots of instability. So it's really, really good that you can help to stay centered within your own being as much as possible. And this is really important for the whole time period of Gemini and Sagittarius, just because they're such changeable, fast, mutable signs that everything is constantly moving. So it's really, really important that you have a very, very solid, secure place within yourself. So salt baths are great. I really like infrared saunas. Saunas I think are really, really good. Just sweating out stuff, which ultimately it does cleanse your energy fields. It just does. You have to trust me on this. And then also it would just be things like sometimes what you're eating, believe it or not, it can help you have better boundaries or not. So for example, probiotics are great. Get your gut bacteria really, really healthy, because believe it or not, and I can't even tell you why, I just know psychically, it's massively related to your healthy boundaries in life. It completely is. And you've got to remember that your gut bacteria from a psychic perspective has a consciousness of its own. And the healthier and the stronger that gut bacteria is, the healthier and stronger you are. And that plays out in every other part of your life. And the better boundaries you will have. And the better you will know how to absorb useful stuff and get rid of shit stuff. And that includes people, situations, good opportunities, bogus opportunities, the whole entire lot. So I really do think it's about you kind of like thinking about these things that we've talked about in more of that multidimensional way, like how your eating can affect things, your sleep can affect things, how you think about can affect things. You know, all of this is something that I can kind of see you, and I see this like juggling, like kind of juggling with all of it. But you're juggling with all of it to help keep refining your sense of who you are and how you relate in the world and how you relate in your business or how you relate in your relationship or your family life. All of this is really, really important. And another thing as well that I'm getting from your records is that actually the next 18 months you're going to become really, really aware about if somebody is projecting their energy or their thoughts or their issues onto you, or if you're projecting your energy or your thoughts or something like that onto somebody else. And your Akashic records are saying this is going to be super, super useful because in some way it's going to, I'm getting these words, it's going to help you get outside of your own matrix. And once you get outside of your own matrix, you'll see things in a very, very different way, almost like I don't know why I'm getting these words, so just let me channel it right. A hyper-intelligence way, so that you can see things almost from a full 360 degrees, but not just in the present, from the past and the future, all meld into one, whether you're aware of it or not. And this is also that thing that allows you to see all of these different opportunities and what to say yes to and what to say no to. And that's just something to be really mindful of too. So that projection thing, because I suppose you've got to like think of the twin energy with the two, you know, the boy and the girl or the man and the woman in Gemini. Like, as much as there can be this huge ability to have a great conversation, a great connection, there's also a good chance that you can be projecting onto each other as well. That's like one of the booby traps, okay? And actually your Akashic records are saying that's the exact booby trap that I, you know, in the beginning I said, from the other reading, let's find out what's the main booby trap for you guys over the next 18 months. It's projection. So when other people are trying to project their issues or their thoughts onto you, or you're trying to do the same thing to them, okay? After this 18 months is over, you'll have a pimping awareness of this. And like I say, it's going to allow you to step out of your own matrix and start to see things with a hyper intelligence that allows you to make best decisions. So actually something for you to get ahead of the game now, whenever you're listening to this reading, I do think it'd be really, really useful that you maybe learn a little bit more about projection and blind spots. And actually, I did do a video with my brother, which is funny because sometimes we project, but it does actually talk about all of this and about blind spots and about how you interrelate with people, particularly one-on-ones, which is very Gemini. And it's something like the number one thing you need to do is to get a spotter. Guys, it'll be so good for you to get a spotter and get more than one. You need a number of different spotters, and that will also allow you to get outside of your own matrix, have hyper intelligence. Your mind becomes many minds and you start to see many, many different opportunities. So I'm going to leave a link for that video as well. That's on my other YouTube channel, See It Like a Psychic, because I do think that that is really, really important. Now, let's just see, what is the number one opportunity? So if that is the main block, what is the number one opportunity? Let me see. I want to go back with these cards. I do love them. So what is the number one opportunity coming your way over the next 18 months? Let's see. Let's see if I need more of that. Queen of Wands, that is. Five of Wands. No freaking way. The Lovers. You know what? As I was shuffling, I was like, I'm getting the words love. But I thought, no, I'm not going to say that unless I do actually, we get confirmation with the cards. But okay, guys, I can absolutely confirm that you guys that chose this pile, also how friggin' beautiful is this card. I love this card of the Lovers. Anyway, you guys that chose this pile, your number one best opportunity coming over the next 18 months is love. It's completely love. And it is, you know, Gemini is often seen as, it is the Lovers basically in tarot. And basically it's almost like it's the sign of sex as well. As much as Scorpio is, so is the Gemini energy. But in a very kind of, sometimes, let's say the sex in the Scorpio can actually pull people apart because it's so friggin' intense. However, the sex and the kind of Gemini energy is kind of like, it's playful, it's fun, we're going to create some real stuff together. And because it's so much lighter, it's way more likely to last long term with less hiccups, is how I can put it that way. So that is the number one opportunity coming for you guys. One thing that I did really feel as soon as these cards came out, or we flipped them over, is I do think as well there is, I do feel like one of the booby traps to do with this as well, the love, is that thing that we definitely talked about, projection. So if you start to meet somebody, almost like the soulmate, you know, the twin flame, the life partner, whatever it is, just be mindful that projection will absolutely be going off. And that does not mean this is not a great relationship. It just means that you need to have just that much more conscious awareness about what projection is, and take full responsibility for what is yours, and allow the other person to take full responsibility for theirs. But also it's to kind of have like this softness, this kindness. And now, not in this deck, but in another deck, and basically my guides are flashing it up for me so I can see it. The Queen of Wands is shown, how is it? She's shown something to do with like a wild beast, like a lion, but she's completely tamed the lion to her will, not because she's forced it or manipulated it, because she has truly understood the wild nature of the beast and she's fully accepted it. And because that beast feels fully accepted, it therefore feels completely connected to that woman and just wants to be with her and work harmoniously with her. And that's something about what I feel you need to be mindful of when it comes to the next 18 months. If you meet this really intense partnership or this lover or whatever it might be, this kind of person that really activates a lot of love energy within you, you just need to make sure that, you know what, you are going to be triggering each other. You naturally will. It's just kind of what happens. You are going to be triggering each other, because this is like 5 of inspiration, so the 5 of Wands. There could be lots of different feelings coming up, because it's going to be a real deep kind of soul connection. And the way to get through that is just understand projection, understand when you're doing it. And when you see they're projecting, it's basically completely accepting that wild beast within them that needs to project, because they just, for whatever reason, feel unconfident about owning that issue, or they don't understand that it's even an issue, or whatever it might be. You just have to have complete acceptance for that. And it will take away that charge from your end, which will help the other person understand what they need to understand, to also harmonize that within them. And then that will allow you to keep carrying on your path together. So this is really, really important. That's also so nice. I mean, come on. Who does not want their pile to come out with the number one opportunity is love? But like I said already from the other part of the reading, you know, there's this real thing about money too. And like I say, oh wow, I remember saying this as well now, it's coming back, that you know what, if you see, if you meet somebody and you feel they're too good for you, remember it's about chatting to other friends to see what their perspective is, to make sure you're not self-sabotaging somebody that actually might be the best match for you ever. Okay, but sometimes when we meet that other person that is kind of like almost the reflection of ourselves and our highest potential, it can be overwhelming to accept it, because we maybe sometimes don't feel good enough about ourselves. But this is where chat to your awesome mates, because they will really help you work through that without sabotaging the connection or the relationship. And I do think that that's something really to be mindful of. Cool, now let's see. I want to see who is the number one mentor that's coming into your life over this 18-month period. Let's see. These are so difficult to shuffle. I mean, look, there's like so many of them. So, who is the number one mentor that you need to spot? Let's see. I kind of feel like this mentor is multifaceted and multi-layered, so we're going to get another one as well, and we'll combine them together to then see who this is. Okay, let's see. The beggar. So confronts empowerment at the level of physical survival, awakens the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. Oh my God, I think I know who is your number one. Wait, let me just see first of all. Medicine Mother, honor your inner knowing. Okay, so you want to know the truth, guys? Like, I really feel for you guys that chose obviously this and everything. You know, your number one mentor is, can you guess who I'm about to say right now? It's this person. Whoever this person is. It could be somebody that you already have met anyway, before obviously the nodes of the moon have gone into Gemini or Sagittarius, or it could be somebody that you end up meeting, you know, within the 18 months that Gemini and Sagittarius are to do with the North and South node, but they're actually going to be your number one mentor. Wow. So you know what, I mean, this just reminds me of this back in the other reading about going into the unknown. Like, I just feel like life has got so many surprises coming for you, and they're really going to come through connection. They're absolutely coming through connection, because that just reminds me of this here as well. And then obviously with the Lovers. And it does just make me think again, guys, definitely just check out your chart and see where Gemini is in your chart, which houses it's in. And maybe even see which house Mercury is in as well, and what aspects they've got going on to it, because I can just really feel this Gemini energy strongly. But yeah, your number one mentor is absolutely whoever this person ends up being. So I do think one thing that you need to be mindful of here, because it says in the shadow aspect of it, dependence on others to the exclusion of effort. I don't know why, but this is just making me think of codependency. Just be really, really mindful that you don't end up becoming codependent with whoever this person is, because I can tell you right now, your Akashic records are saying that's going to cause you heartache, both of you, if you start to become codependent. I actually think it's a really good idea then that you don't just look at stuff to do with projection, but you also look at stuff to do with codependency. This will definitely, your Akashic guides are saying this definitely comes back to your childhood and how you've seen your primary caregivers interact and how your primary caregivers have interacted with you. So it might be useful just to look at that a little bit. So that could be maybe a little bit of inner child healing. In fact, all of your spirit guides are saying it's inner child healing. So yeah, you maybe want to have a little look into that as well, to see where... In fact, you know what, I will actually do a video. I'm going to do a normal pick a card. I need to write this down. I need to remember. I am actually going to do a normal pick a card on my channel to do with what your inner child wants you to know about codependency, because I can just feel that this is a really big deal for so many people anyway. So I will actually do that, so you can see if you're going to get something out of that. But now, let me just channel in a little bit more to do this. I love these cards. It's so cool. So Medicine Mother, honor your inner knowing. I mean, you know what? That also really just makes me feel as well that you guys are... Wait a minute. Sorry, something else is just coming in now. Just give me a second. Okay, so for some of you that are really quite psychic and aware of things, you know what? You're getting a new spirit guide that's coming in. Over this Gemini Sagittarius nodal energy, you're having a new spirit guide coming in. And this spirit guide... One second. Is really going to show you how to hold space for other people. And that becomes really, really important to do with this connection. But they're going to really show you how to hold space for other people, not just the lover, but just in general. And that will then ultimately reflect on how you hold space for yourself. And then that ultimately comes back to what I did within the first reading, not the Vimeo one, the other one, which was basically about you guys are going to be able to stand, almost be like in the eye of the storm, and you're going to hold your own stability. That's how you start being able to hold your own space. So I'm also getting that this spirit guide is also really going to help you to do with what we said about anxiety issues, which is awesome. Because once you guys release some of these anxiety issues and whatever they might be, I mean, your creativity is just going to explode in ways that you have no idea. Because I just don't think you can comprehend how much anxiety can dampen somebody's energy field. So number one, so that is friggin' awesome. But I'm also getting something else. Just give me one moment. I don't know why, but I'm really getting that exercise is going to be important. And in some way, that's going to... I don't know if you might meet somebody while you're exercising, or in a really weird way, there's something about you doing something more to do with exercise or movement. And for some reason, I'm really seeing this, you know, your thyroid gland, and I really don't know why. And it's not that there's anything wrong with that thyroid gland, but it's kind of like... it's just going to get stimulated, activated in a way, and that then makes me think of exercise, and then that's leading me to think somebody's going to cross paths with you, seemingly in a fated way, around something to do with that type of energy. And also it's because something about your higher heart chakra, which is then not your thyroid, but your thymus gland, it's around your thymus gland, is going to be more activated. And it's going to allow people to come in that basically have much more of a softening to them and to you. So it takes you out of defensive modes. And actually they also do this thing that we talked about here, which is, you know, basically fully accepting the beast within somebody. So like the shadow within somebody. I feel like there's something about that. And you know what, you'll know when you meet this person, because ultimately when something kicks off around something, or your like inner shadow comes out, or that beast part of you comes out, they really can hold space for you, and they really do fully accept it. And there's something about that that then leads you to understand how to do that in an intimate connection. That's what I'm getting with that. That's really interesting. I do totally love that card. I totally love that. Okay, cool. So now what I want to do... okay, I want to choose one more card. I'm going to go for this because I love these ones. I'm actually going to read out the book for this one, I think. And then I'll also allow you guys to just pause at it to see how you feel about it. So I'm going to let you guys pause and stare at it first, and then I'll read out the book. So with everything that we've talked about, with everything you're feeling, just go with your first thoughts, feelings, intuitive, any images you get to do with this card, because totally trust just your intuition. Let's see, you get this card. Oh wow, throat chakra. No way, and we're just talking about the thymus, the thyroid as well. That is such a Gemini energy too. Okay, so quickly, I really want to say that the throat chakra, I always really see that as like a Gemini energy, because Gemini energy is very much about communication as well, and expressing your authenticity. And you know, in that relationship thing that we talked about, it's going to be so important that you are authentic, because that other person basically will call you out on your bullshit, because that's that sort of deep spiritual partnership that will be going off between the two of you. But that's another reason why you need to make sure that you're not self-sabotaging. Don't know why that is, but just feel into that. Anyway, let me just read what this says. Sorry, my camera just cut out there because we've done 30 minutes. But I just want to read to you about this then. So the throat chakra. So it says here, speak up, choose your words wisely, truth through love. The unspeakable is spoken, and the spoken never heard, but felt by the masses across the earth. So it says here, this mandala brings powerful guidance and healing of the throat chakra. It is important to acknowledge your power of one's voice and the impact it may have on others, the collective consciousness and your own vibration. The voice is a sacred portal to one's truth. This card brings a reminder that our truth is infinitely governed by the power of love. If there is no love within your words, how can you be speaking from your heart? Speaking one's truth is a powerful act, and it's one's actions that will reverberate across all levels of space and time. So allow the gateway of your heart to speak directly through the throat chakra, filtering all thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Okay, so guys, I think as well, the thing with the throat chakra is it's so Gemini, I can't even tell you, because Gemini is all about communication. It's hugely, hugely about communication. So once again, this just tells me again, Gemini is so important for you guys, this energy. Now, actually, this has just made me think of a shamanic tool that I just want to share with you now. It will only take me a couple of minutes. I just will guide you through it, but then you can use this tool anytime with anyone that you need, particularly over this Gemini Sagittarius time period. Okay, so I just know this will be so useful, so remember it. And then also allow yourself to be flexible with it and obviously make it your own and be creative. You know, I'm all up for that. But what I want you to do is just take a couple of deep breaths. And now what I want you to do is close your eyes. And I want you to visualize or imagine that you're in an amazing place in nature, completely by yourself. It can be anywhere, but somewhere that's beautiful to you. Now really just kind of see if you can smell things, see some more detail, just make it so visual, like make your nervous system believe that you are there. So whether you feel the ground on your feet, or you can feel the wind blowing on your face, whatever it might be. Now what I want you to do is I want you to visualize a white dove flying towards you, and it gently puts a blue star over your throat. And as soon as that blue star hits your throat, it starts to warm up your throat, but in a really comforting, self-soothing way. And you can tell that the heat of the blue star and the vibrational frequency of the blue star is just easily and gently dissolving any kind of like blocks or bits of constriction or incoherent parts of your throat chakra. And it's your throat starts to feel like looser and more relaxed. And then what I want you to do is I want you to call in one person that you really need to tell them something that you haven't told them. So you really need to be honest with them about something. Or there's something that you just really need to get off your chest to them. Essentially something that you know you need to communicate to this person. So visualize that person standing in front of you. It's almost like the soul part of them, so it's relaxed, it's comforting, it's a warm feeling, like on the level where everybody loves each other. And then you see the white dove just sit down between the two of you, in the middle of you both. And then when you're ready, I want you to speak through that blue star on your throat chakra and just say whatever it is that you need to say to that person. Just be totally honest, whatever it is. And then, when you've said everything that you need to say, allow that other person to maybe say something to you back. Sometimes this is just a feeling that you get. It's just, don't force it, trust it. Don't worry if you also get nothing. Everything is perfect in this space. It always is. And then when they finish saying whatever they needed to say, I want you to go to the white dove and ask the white dove to come into your hands, sit in your hands. It's going to just like sit in your hands. And then I just want you to give that white dove to this other person. And you see their soul smile and take the dove. They smile at you again and you smile back. And then they slowly fade off into the distance. Then suddenly you're just aware of that blue star in front of your chakra again. And it warms up again. And this time you can feel it kind of like, almost like some blue shooting stars are going into your throat chakra. And it's just energizing it and it's making it feel more free. And then you see that blue star dissolve into your throat. You can move your neck and your head around a little bit if you want to. And then when you feel grounded, when you feel your feet on the floor again, and when you feel ready, wiggle your toes and your hands, and then just open your eyes again. Okay, now I want you to know that you can use that any time that you need to. Sometimes it can be easier to say something to somebody's soul before you say it to them in person. Sometimes you only need to say something to somebody's soul. You don't need to say it to them in person. Either way, you'll know. All I know is this is a great shamanic tool. Make it your own, adapt it however you want. But just know, over this time period, right until, when is the date again? Right until the 18th of January 2022, it's important that you're always expressing your truth to people, okay? And particularly whoever this soul is going to be. Cool, so I hope you enjoyed that video. Like I say, consider something like the earthing sheet as well. And yeah, just consider all of those different things that came up. As always, take what feels good for you, totally disregard what does not, and just make this reading work the best for you. And I am excited for you. Gemini's cool, it's fun, and you've got a lot of that Gemini energy coming your way. So enjoy. See you guys soon. Bye.